The experiment I'm going to be explaining today is pencil lead light bulb. So as we know, Thomas Edison was the creator of the modern day incandescent light bulb. Incandescence means that light is produced through heat. In the incandescence light bulb, it's about a 90% ratio of heat to 10% light. So the way this works is that electricity is passed through the base of the bulb, heating up the filament inside, and that's going to allow the carbon in the filament to be evaporated, producing the heat and light. And the reason that we have the glass casing over the filament is so that way oxygen isn't exposed to the filament, which would cause the filament to burn out a lot quicker. So in the modern day incandescence light bulb, in order to prevent oxygen from being exposed, it's either vacuum sealed or there's a different gas inserted, so that way it can allow the light bulb to run for thousands of hours. In our experiment, as we're replicating the light bulb, we're going to have these alligator clips that will be connected to a DC circuit in order to get the electricity to pass through. As electricity is passed through, it'll heat up the filament that'll be connected inside. As all the particles are being evaporized out of the carbon, the filament will burn out, which allows it to no longer produce light. This experiment can be explained to students who are in kindergarten through third grade by giving them an example of what happens when they have a lot of energy. So when they eat a lot of sugar, they get really hyper and they want to go outside and run around. This is similar to what's happening inside the light bulb. As the electrons are getting really hyper and moving around, and this is what's happening with the kids. They have a lot of energy. They're going to want to go outside and run around. As they're running around, they're going to get hot and get sweaty. This is also happening in the light bulb as it's giving off heat. So it's a good way to explain how energy is released in a form of heat. To explain this experiment to kids that are in fourth or fifth grade or even maybe sixth grade, you can explain atoms and electrons. So this will allow them to see what's producing the energy. So you can explain that the electrons produce electrical current as they flow through a circuit. You can think of this as cars being on the road. As long as the light is green, all these cars are going to continue to flow, which is similar to what happens when the light switch is on, is the electrons are running and continuing to follow their path. As the light turns red, all the cars stop. And this is what happens when you turn off the switch. As you stop the electrons from flowing, there's no energy that's allowing light to be produced.